April 2020. While the world locked its doors against an earthly plague, astronomers turned their eyes skyward to witness something far more unsettling. Comet C 2019 Y4, known as Atlas, was approaching our sun. It had been discovered months earlier, promising to become one of the brightest comets in decades. But then something happened that no one predicted. It broke apart. Not from collision, not from any force we could easily explain. It simply fragmented. Piece by piece, this visitor from beyond began to disintegrate, as if something ancient was awakening and tearing itself free from its icy prison. The comet's trajectory told a strange story. It hadn't originated from our solar system's familiar orbits. It came from interstellar space, from the vast darkness between stars, carrying with it the chemical signatures of places we've never seen. A messenger from the void, arriving at humanity's doorstep during our most vulnerable moment. On social media, the theories erupted. Apocalypse warnings, doomsday countdowns. Old superstitions dressed in modern language. Because deep in our collective unconscious, we remember what comets have always meant to us. Halley's Comet blazed across the sky in 1066, before the Norman conquest. The Great Comet of 1680 triggered waves of religious mania across Europe. These celestial visitors have always whispered to us of change, of endings, of forces beyond our control. But there's another voice that speaks to this fear. A voice from Providence, Rhode Island, writing in the early 20th century, who understood something profound about our relationship with the cosmos. H.P. Lovecraft wrote, "We live on a placid island of ignorance in the midst of black seas of infinity, and it was not meant that we should voyage far." What if he was right? To understand why a fragmenting comet can trigger such primal dread, we need to travel backward through the history of human consciousness itself. Because the night sky hasn't always terrified us. Once, it was our comfort. For thousands of years, humans believed we stood at the center of everything. The earth was fixed and immovable. The stars wheeled around us like cosmic theater, put there by divine hands for our benefit. Every astronomical event carried a message meant specifically for us. We were the protagonists in the universe's grand narrative. Then came Copernicus, then Galileo. Then the slow, terrible revelation that we orbit an ordinary star in an unremarkable position in a galaxy among billions. But the real psychological shock came in the 1920s, during Lovecraft's most productive years. Edwin Hubble peered through his telescope at Mount Wilson and discovered that those fuzzy nebulae were T-clouds of gas within our galaxy. They were other galaxies entirely, millions of light years away. The universe, in a single observation, became unimaginably larger than anyone had conceived. Lovecraft was writing during a revolution. Einstein had just warped space and time. Quantum mechanics was revealing that reality itself behaved in ways that violated every human intuition. The comfortable universe was dying, and in its place emerged something vast, cold, and profoundly indifferent. This is where cosmic horror was born. It's not from monsters and gore, but from a philosophical position Lovecraft called cosmicism. The idea is simple and devastating. Humanity is an accident. We are not the point. We are not special. We are microscopic patterns of matter that briefly gain the ability to think, existing for an evolutionary eye blink on a rock orbiting an average star in a universe so vast that our entire existence might as well not have happened at all. And at the mountains of madness, Lovecraft imagined Antarctic explorers discovering a civilization that predated humanity by millions of years, making human history look like a brief footnote. It wasn't fiction. It was prophecy dressed as fantasy. Consider the Great Filter Hypothesis, the Fermi paradox. Modern cosmology has given us Lovecraftian concepts without his name attached. If the universe is so vast and so old, where are all the alien civilizations? Perhaps they're all extinct. Perhaps something out there filters out consciousness before it can spread. Perhaps we're next. The 1833 Leonid meteor storm terrified Americans who watched the sky explode with shooting stars. Believing the apocalypse had arrived, the Tunguska event of 1908 flattened 800 square miles of Siberian forest, and we still don't entirely know why. These aren't ancient superstitions. These are geological facts reminding us that the universe has nearly killed us before and might succeed next time. Lovecraft understood what we're still learning. The most merciful thing in the world is the inability of the human mind to correlate all its contents. We live on a placid island of ignorance, and it was not meant that we should voyage far, but we voyaged anyway. And now we can't unsee what we've found. Let's conduct an experiment. Right now, try to truly comprehend the distance to the nearest star beyond our sun. Proxima Centauri, 4.24 light-years away. That means light, traveling at 186,000 miles per second, takes over 4 years to reach us from there. You can't do it. Your brain isn't built for it. Human cognition evolved to navigate landscapes of a few dozen miles, to track time and seasons and lifespans, to understand dangers we could see and touch. When confronted with billions of light years, billions of years of time, our mental architecture simply collapses. We can say the numbers, can write the equations, but we cannot truly feel what they mean. This is the first mechanism of cosmic horror, the psychology of scale. When astronauts see Earth from space for the first time, many experience what's called the overview effect, a profound cognitive shift where national boundaries disappear and humanity's fragility becomes visceral. Some describe it as spiritual transcendence. Others report crushing anxiety. The mind breaks when it confronts the view it was never designed to process. Terror management. Theory and psychology suggest that humans create elaborate belief systems specifically to shield ourselves from death anxiety. We build religions, ideologies, legacies, anything to create the illusion that our brief existence matters cosmically. But when we look at deep time, when we really confront the billions of years before we existed and the billions after we'll be gone, those shields crack. Here's where it gets worse. Our brains are wired for pattern recognition, for finding meaning in noise. It's why we see faces in clouds, why we detect agency in random events. This served our ancestors well when mistaking a shadow for a predator meant survival. But in the cosmos, our pattern-seeking instinct becomes a liability. We see canals on Mars that don't exist. We detect messages in cosmic background radiation that are just noise. We find mathematical patterns in planetary orbits and convince ourselves they mean something. We suffer from what Lovecraft weaponized, pareidolia, pointed at the infinite. Our minds desperately try to make the cosmos comprehensible, to find intention in design, because a meaningless universe is psychologically unbearable. Consider megalophobia, the fear of large objects, and kenophobia, the fear of empty spaces. These aren't irrational. There are evolutionary programming screaming warnings at us. Our ancestors who feared the vastness of empty plains, who felt anxiety in open spaces where predators could approach unseen, survived better than those who didn't. That same instinct now triggers when we contemplate intergalactic voids millions of light years across. The pale blue dot photograph taken by Voyager 1 from 3.7 billion miles away shows Earth as a single pixel. Carl Sagan called it humbling, but the psychological literature tells a different story. When shown this image, test subjects report increased feelings of insignificance and existential anxiety. Some find it liberating, many find it crushing. This is the uncanny valley of cosmology. Cosmos is familiar enough that we can measure it, observe it, study it, but it's alien enough that every measurement deepens the mystery. We thought we'd find answers out there. Instead, we found bigger questions. Lovecraft intuited all of this without modern neuroscience. He understood that our cognitive limitations weren't weaknesses to overcome, they were vulnerabilities to exploit. His stories work because they don't ask you to fear a monster. They ask you to fear the revelation that you're the insignificant thing in a universe that was never meant for you. And here's the paradox. The more we learn about the cosmos, the more Lovecraftian it becomes. Every answered question reveals 10 unanswered ones. Every solved mystery exposes deeper enigmas. Scientific progress doesn't comfort us, it intensifies the dread. Fast forward to July 2022, the James Webb Space Telescope releases its first images. The internet collectively holds its breath. There, in unprecedented detail, are galaxies so distant their light began traveling toward us when the universe was barely 300 million years old. Galaxies that shouldn't exist, according to our models. Galaxies that formed too early, too fast, as if something about our fundamental understanding of cosmic evolution is wrong. We thought we were getting answers. Instead, we got more cosmic horror. Or consider October 2017, when astronomers detected Oumuamua, the first confirmed interstellar object passing through our solar system. Its behavior was strange, shape unusual, tumbling end over end like no comet or asteroid we'd seen. Some scientists proposed it might be artificial. A probe from another civilization, perhaps, or debris from a dead world. It passed through our solar system in a matter of weeks, and we'll never see it again. A visitor from the space between stars? A real object behaving exactly like something from a Lovecraft story? Indifferent to our observations? Incomprehensible in its origin and purpose? These aren't science fiction scenarios. These are events from the past few years. And social media has transformed how we process them. Then hours of any astronomical announcement, doomsday hashtags trend. Asteroid tracking apps notify millions of users about near-Earth objects. Solar flare warnings spread panic. The algorithm learned that cosmic anxiety drives engagement, so it feeds us more. We live in the first era of mass cosmic awareness. Previous generations might hear about a comet months after its discovery. Now, we watch in real time as asteroids pass within the moon's orbit. We get push notifications about solar storms. We scroll through images of black holes and neutron stars colliding before breakfast. The universe's indifference has become part of our daily media diet. Then there's dark matter and dark energy, which together make up 95% of the universe. We named the unknown, quantified our ignorance. We discovered that almost everything that exists is completely invisible and inexplicable to us. Lovecraft couldn't have written a better cosmic mystery. The universe is mostly made of something we can't see, can't touch, can't understand. But we know it's there because without it, galaxies would fly apart and the universe's expansion wouldn't accelerate. We're surrounded by invisible forces that determine reality's basic structure, and we have no idea what they are. Some physicists and philosophers propose we might be living in a simulation, that reality itself might be computation running on some incomprehensible substrate. It's the ultimate Lovecraftian nightmare dressed in scientific language. Not ancient gods, but ancient programmers. Not cosmic indifference, but cosmic experimentation. We might be characters who gained enough complexity to question our own existence. Forever unable to prove or disprove the nature of reality itself. Meanwhile, climate change plays out like slow-motion cosmic horror. The planet, indifferent to human civilization, adjusts its systems to new equilibrium. We're experiencing what Lovecraft understood, that even our own world doesn't care if we survive. Earth will continue long after we're gone, indifferent to whether we adapt or perish. Popular culture has absorbed this anxiety. True Detective's first season ended with cosmic horror themes. Annihilation featured an alien force that wasn't malevolent, just incomprehensibly other. Event Horizon brought Lovecraftian terror to space itself. These aren't niche anymore. Cosmic horror has gone mainstream because the cosmos itself has become horrifying. Even our richest citizens betray the anxiety. Tech billionaires pour fortunes into Mars colonization, building bunkers, developing life extension technology. It's cosmic horror manifesting a survival instinct. They've seen the same data we have. They know how precarious this all is. We track potentially hazardous asteroids. We worry about gamma ray bursts from distant supernova. We calculate the odds of solar flares destroying our technology. We've built a civilization dependent on satellites and infrastructure that could be wiped out by events we can see coming but can't prevent. The mediocrity principle suggests we're probably average, not special, not chosen, not protected. Just one more species on one more planet, as likely to go extinct as the billions of species that came before us? In an age when we desperately want to believe humanity is exceptional, astronomy keeps reminding us we're probably not. But here's where the story takes an unexpected turn. Philosophers have long recognized a concept called the sublime. It's the feeling you get standing at the edge of the Grand Canyon or watching a thunderstorm roll across the plains. Beauty and terror mixed together, awe tinged with fear. The recognition that you're witnessing something vast and powerful that could destroy you, but hasn't yet. The cosmos offers the ultimate sublime experience. Yes, we're insignificant. Yes, the universe is indifferent. Yes, we exist for a cosmic eye blink on a fragile rock in an infinite void. But consider the alternative perspective, the one Carl Sagan offered. We are a way for the cosmos to know itself. For 13.8 billion years, matter existed but couldn't contemplate its own existence. Then, on at least one small planet, atoms arranged themselves in patterns complex enough to ask questions, to wonder, to fear, to love, to create meaning where none existed before. Perhaps Lovecraft was right about the scale but wrong about the response. Perhaps our insignificance doesn't diminish us. Perhaps it liberates us. If the universe doesn't care, then we're free to create our own meaning. If there's no cosmic plan, then every choice we make is genuinely ours. If we're accidents, then every moment of consciousness, every connection with another person, every beautiful thing we create or experience is a victory against entropy. The real horror isn't that the universe doesn't care about us. The real horror is that we keep expecting it to. We keep projecting intention onto indifference, looking for meaning in the meaningless, demanding that reality conform to our need for significance. What if we stopped? What if we embraced the cosmic horror not as paralysis, but as perspective? The same vastness that makes us insignificant also makes our existence miraculous. Against all odds, matter learned to matter. Atoms learned to love. The universe, through us, learned to fear its own infinity. Right now, the fragments of Comet Atlas continue their journey through space. They don't know we observed them. They don't care that we named them. They're just ice and rock following gravitational trajectories, indifferent to the meaning we tried to impose on their arrival. And maybe that's okay. Maybe the question isn't whether the universe cares about us. Maybe the question is in an infinite cosmos of ancient horrors. Knowing that you're temporary and insignificant, knowing that everything you love will eventually be scattered across the void, what makes your brief moment of consciousness worth living? Lovecraft would call it horror. From another angle, it looks almost like freedom.